We'll pick this up about where we left off. Since drinking and smoking are such high-stakes items, we cannot let them be driven off the marketplace by health crazes or civil disobedient do-gooders. The high rates of alcoholism and lung cancer provide statistical proof as to the effectiveness of these simple but emotional selling strategies. Let them also stand as proof of our willingness to fight like hell for the rights of our well-heeled clients. It's quite frequent in the advertising field to create leeching techniques that allow us to ride the crest of current religious, social, and economic movements at little if any final monetary cost. The true beauty of this is that the consumer actually pays to be brainwashed, while we corporate fat cats laugh all the way to the bank. That's right. They said it as good as I could. They brainwash us, and we pay them to do it. The psychoanalysts that came out of Vienna, Austria, before and during World War II, revolutionized marketing upon arriving on Madison Avenue. These protégés of Freud could sell more products by manipulating our subconscious motivations and desires than the pollsters like Gallup ever could wish to. According to these pseudoscientists, our strongest subconscious drives revolve around the beginnings of life, sex, and the end of life, death. Not too far out there, really. Having sex and not dying are pretty far up on my priority list. So here's more of the document. I'll pick this up after the course details. The course itself is an adventure into the mental frontiers that challenge even the most stalwart individual. You'll learn the hows and whys of taboo imagery, group motivation theories based on collective anima symbolism, how to slow the thought waves and enter the alpha, theta, delta levels of the mind, the emotional meaning of colors, shapes, and patterns, plus your basic illustration and airbrushing techniques. Techniques that will put your newly acquired secret knowledge to work for you. Initiation into the psychological concepts and manipulative stratagems of the art course often comes as a shock to those naive individuals the computer mispicked. 36% of all previous candidates dropped out in disgust within the first 3 days. Since there is no refund, we try to stress that certain squeamish types of people aren't suited for the psychological demands of this fast-paced, secretive business. Our main goal is to produce artists and idea personnel dedicated and obedient to the advertising necessities involved in regulating America's production-consumption cycle. Man lives in an environment of symbols, and it's extremely important to understand something about the symbol-making process, because symbols are the raw material of human thought and all communication. Superficially, we think that words are the only form of communication because we live in such a highly verbal atmosphere. Yet in actuality, there is a far greater amount of nonverbal communication going on all the time through the use of other symbols than words. The enclosed photos provide an excellent example of some of these advertising necessities, and they visually sum up what our school is about. One photo shows a sexy blonde woman holding a cocktail glass. Just another pretty face in the crowd is the visual impact most observers have. Let's take a close look at the artistic strategy we've used to enhance the emotional trigger power of the advertisement. First off, the woman has sex appeal. Do blondes have more fun? The connotations are that blondes are more sexual, more easily seduced, and enjoy sex more than the other hair colors. Since blatant sexuality is the subliminal theme of this ad, the blonde hair helps to act as an emotional catalyst in ensuring a sexual interpretation by the viewer's subconscious. The satyr on the woman's collar or choker further enhances the subconscious theme of the ad. The satyr is an age-old symbol for man's baser instincts, his primitive, lustful dark side. The satyr identifies its wearer as being associated with instinctive eroticism. The choker around her neck is a visual indication of her submissiveness to the eroticism of the satyr. Since a choker closely resembles a collar, Its submissive symbolism in this context is much the same. She will be obedient and docile as a dog in obeying the erotic desires of her master, the viewer. She is a sex slave. If we look closely, we see that the blonde woman is holding the cocktail glass in an odd or dissonant way. Her right hand is folded except for her index finger. Her index finger is extended and is pointing to the ice cube in the cocktail glass. Pointing is a way of directing someone's attention to a specific area or direction. In this case, it's the ice cubes. Airbrushed into the ice cubes are several erotic symbols. These symbols are designed to activate socially taboo thoughts and emotions in the viewer. By activating these deep instinctual thought processes, we guarantee our client the emotional involvement of the viewer or potential customer. We create the desire that can only be satisfied by product consumption. The symbols in the ice cubes may seem invisible, but hypnotic research has shown 95% subconscious pickup. The subconscious can take in an astounding amount of visual information. This information filters its way up to the consciousness by way of what is socially acceptable. The rest is to remain in the subconscious, where it later emerges in the form of desires and wants that are satisfied only through acts of consumption. The ice cubes, which your index finger points to, form an erect penis. These two cubes have been flesh-colored and can easily be seen from a distance of several feet, once pointed out. Note how the penis angle is correct for proper virile erection. Since a penis in a glass is considered taboo, this image would be immediately repressed. People only see what they expect to see. The woman's lips are in close proximity to this erect, flesh-toned penis. The idea of fellatio is reinforced by the satyr blowing on a flute or phallic-shaped object. Oral sex is a commonly desired quest and fantasy of males of all ages. By retouching and airbrushing in this symbolic sexual message, we've elevated a mere glass of whiskey into a potent aphrodisiac. Next to this erect penis is a red cherry. Red is a hot, loud, and active color. On the right of this red cherry is a happy fornicating rabbit. This rabbit is an apt symbol for love and sex. It's common knowledge that the logo for Playboy magazine is the promiscuous rabbit. Male boastings of sexual prowess often include emphasis on the partner's ability to F like a rabbit. Note that the ice cube area surrounding the rabbit's engorged penis is a creamy white. The ice cube area above the cherry is also creamy white rather than a see-through clearness. In this ad's blatant sexual context, this creamy white color correlates with the creamy whiteness of sperm. Obviously, ejaculation by fellatio will be successful, enhancing the virility appeal of this product. Below the fornicating rabbit is a happy, smiling human face to symbolize a drink that tastes good and will make one happy. It also correlates with the love for oral sex, licking her lips in anticipation. Below this smiling face are several other penises in various stages of sexual excitement. To the left of these aroused penises are several female shapes with large breasts. The large breasts help activate instinctual maternal sucking impulses associated with the pleasure principle. The female shapes visually stimulate any repressed sexual desire in the viewer. The model's middle finger on her left hand is visually touching the genital area of the large-breasted female shape. The middle finger is associated with sex and sexual gestures such as FU. F being a sexual connotation implying intercourse. This touching of the genitals by her middle finger is subconsciously interpreted as being bisexual or impish, game for anything, in character. Since male fantasies often include acts of lesbianism, we took the liberty to airbrush this visual enticement into the sexual repertoire our impish host is tempting the viewer with. Earlier it was stated that the satyr and choker indicated the model's willingness to be sexually submissive to the viewer's own fantasies. To help aid in this submissive interpretation, we've instructed the model to look upward. This looking upward visually places her in a lower position than the viewer. In this context, it would subconsciously be interpreted as being on her knees or at the level convenient for oral sex. The large white areas of her eyes were retouched to match the exact hue of the white creamy ice cubes. Exhaustive research indicates the subconscious reads this as she has eyes for spurting sperm. She loves climatic pleasure. She's voyeuristic. Even the copy of the ad must correlate with the erotic theme. About midway through the copy, the wording goes, "the smoothest thing since skin." This correlates with the smooth skin of the penis that she's pointing to. The rest of the copy is quite sexual when placed within the subliminal sexual framework of the ad. It brings out the imp in all of us, refers to the releasing of primitive sexual desires and impulses found in every human. Here is the final example I have from the training document. This is another ad from the Kent Good Time campaign. It seems to employ the same hell sell technique previously covered. In this ad, the female is wearing the thick sweater. They have the mirror jabbing her in the head, which I would have thought is coincidence if they did not spell that out for me. Other horror features on her apparently are an embedded spider, a warped knuckle, and an evil eye. If anyone has these original ads or knows what year and in what magazines they were ran, please contact me. There's a subliminal penis near the woman's mouth. There's emphasis on both of their teeth. The man is dripping blood near his hairline with a horn shape made from his hairstyle. As he drives the car, his eyes are tightly shut. I'm no psychoanalyst, so I'm not going to try and play out whatever sick, twisted game this ad is designed to play on our subconscious mind. The hood of the car has swear words, horror faces, and devil faces embedded in it. These subliminal embeds are not just on tobacco and alcohol ads. They're on just about all ads, even ads directed at children. Ernest Dichter, the father of motivational research, wrote in the Handbook of Consumer Motivations, "We attempt to escape fear-producing stimuli. By producing fear, we can alter people's behavior. When caught in fear, we regress step by step to ever more infantile and animalistic drives." August Bullock, in his book The Secret Sales Pitch, says, advertisers deny using subliminal techniques. They claim that the embeds and other devices that appear in media are coincidental. Later, he says, so many coincidences appearing in one ad strongly suggest that subliminals do not appear in media by accident. Advertisers' denials seem even more implausible, however, when you consider that series of ads often incorporate similar subliminal techniques. Wilson Bryan Key says in his book Subliminal Seduction, embedding refers generally to the practice of hiding emotionally loaded words or pictures in the backgrounds of ads. Embedded words and picture illusions are part of most advertising throughout North America today. These subliminal stimuli, though invisible to conscious perception, are perceived instantly at the unconscious level by virtually everyone who perceives them, even for an instant. Most national advertising includes embedding. Retail or local ad layouts may not have the facilities, as their artists and writers either do not know about subliminal techniques or they lack the skill and craftsmanship required to do the work well. Every major advertising agency has at least one embedding technician in its art department. The technique is taught in most commercial art schools. He later says, sex is the most frequently embedded word in the American advertising industry. Multi-dimensional printing techniques permit advertising artists to plant taboo emotional words dozens of times in a single layout.